Hey everyone, this is Brondell. Y'all might know me by a few names, but that's one that most of you know me by. Anyways, in this video, I'm gonna describe myself so other people have a understanding of where I'm coming from when I say something. I'm in the later half of my 30s, and I'm autistic. I was diagnosed when I was always an adult, maybe 5-ish. Not exactly when, but it's close to Asperger's. I will not say which version because I have learned from experience that stuff will get me in trouble. It gives people who know how to manipulate people the keys to manipulate. And that's the surefire way of pissing me off. I am a Presbyterian. And no, I do not have to be Christian to be my friend. If anything, I'm just going to show you how a true Christian should be behaving, though I will always fall in some way, shape, or form. Because that is what we do. We fall. But we also get up and try. To understand the my point of view, you have to understand. Growing up, I didn't have many friends. Also, made it hard for me to socialize, but I didn't understand that. First, let's see here. Sorry. First off, despite being white, I am of Scotch-Irish descent on my dad's side. Do not know my mother's side because, well, she was adopted, so we don't know. And not that bad. Either that she doesn't know it or doesn't want to. I kind of adoption so I can get some more things in my ancestry. Anyways, let's see. Outside of my family, the first quote-unquote friends that I had were gators. Almost every last one of them were white kids. So, yeah, my first memories of trying to make friends outside of my ethnicity were basically feeling like a kid with a pork chop around and like the dog would play with them. Yeah, then people wonder why I have trust issues. But I do not give two flying F's which is skin colors. Why? Because while those kids that had to dare each other to be my friends were all white, the first non-white kid to try and be my friend was a girl by the name of Monique, and she did not do it because she was dared, she just wanted to be my friend. So it showed me that the moment I start judging others based on their skin color is the very moment I turn into those very same monsters who made me feel so shitty. So I swore note to myself. Never, ever, ever judge someone else based on their skin color or what's between their legs. I do in fact enjoy meeting people with a different point of view from me because it broadens my point of view and lets me learn more of my previous view. It's a great thing. Sad it's a little bit look down upon at the moment for people to try and broaden their viewpoints. So here's something I think both the political left and political right need to hear. We need to stop going after each other and thinking of each other as bad people just because we are on different sides of the political compass. The political left is there to protect the rights of groups of people. That's not wrong. It's a very admirable task that they have for themselves. I'm never going to be mean to them for that. But the political left need to understand that the people on the left The people on the political left needs to remember those on the right might have different views from them, but most of us are there to protect private individuals. And both sides need to stop shaking their fists at each other and start talking to each other. Whether on the political left or political right. We both need to just stop getting tricked into going after each other by a bunch of a-holes who like pretending what they are not. Yes, those are the politicians. Some are on the left, some are on the right, but none are what they are claiming to be. Just compare what the politicians on the left and the right are doing, and then compare with other historical parties. Y'all appear to have forgotten there was once a party in the US called the Socialist Party of America. And I wish they had stayed gone. Ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself this simple question before you get too furious at me for suggesting that y'all have been played. Would your views back during September 11th, 2001 reflect the same viewpoint that you have now as an adult, as your current age? I have a sneaking suspicion most people will find that no, their views have drifted considerably. I hate saying that, but anyways, to me, this is what's going on. A bunch of a-holes are pretending to be what they are not. Parasites, if you want my honest opinion, that are telling people how to live their lives and are screwing us over. Marxist bullshittery never works. It fundamentally cannot work. By its very actions, I'm trying not to get preachy, sorry. Look at how Marxism is. Everyone puts all this stuff in the collective bill and everyone puts out what they need. It sounds great on paper. It really does. If it worked like how they theorized, I would have no trouble with it. Problem is, it does not work out like how they claim it will. How it actually behaves is, well, how should I put this? Here's why no form of Marxism ever works, or at least works for a very short period of time before its own actions destroy it, is this. It does not solve for 2 of the 7 beliefs. In its case, greed and sloth. Politicians will always have it. And they will go, oh, I'm in charge of all this stuff. I don't think they'll move by just most of it, will they? And because they have so much greed, they will. And then get upset if someone says something. And then sloth. Why should they work hard to earn more if it doesn't matter in the end? All that stuff goes into one collective bunch and redistributed. It will be easier on them to not bother doing the work and just ride someone else's coattails than, well, working hard. And once enough people start doing that, civilization starts out and then dies out. We see that all the damn time. compare what's going on in the US at the moment. Oh, communism. I swear to God, I would love to live in. That does not mean it's just on the left. People like Liz Cheney and others that are claiming to be right-wingers are also Marxist idiots just pretending to be what they are not. Just like every Democrat, libertarian, not libertarian, but liberal and progressive. True progressive movements would be furious with what these dum-dums are pushing, because it is not progress. The moment you start thinking, oh, that person is this ethnicity, they must be bad people, that's bad. And while I'm pretty sure some of y'all will think, oh, who said that? That's literally what those in Washington are saying about those with pale complexions. Not everyone labeled white is of European descent. Compare someone from Ireland to someone in Germany. Looks similar enough and gets categorized as the same thing, but they are fundamentally different. And just for the record, a certain ex of mine was of German descent, and I did not blame her for what Hitler did. Enough time has passed and she has had nothing to do with it. So why should I blame her or anyone of German descent for that incident? Should everyone still hate Nazis? F Nazis with a bunker buster or a colony laser. For those who don't know what a colony laser is, let's see. A colony laser is basically the diameter of like a major city. Well, I do not know off the top of my head how big a colony was in the Gundam universe you see that is. But it's very, 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 very big. Darn it, that's not really a good description. A colony is basically large enough on the inside for essentially a large town to be on the inside layer of it. Now take one of those and turn that into basically a laser pointer and have as much power as you wish being funneled into that thing. That is a colony laser, and it would almost be appropriate enough to wipe out Nazis if it had a few siblings doing the same thing. I do not like Nazis. They deserve such pain being given to them for so much to others. I do not care what your culture is. Heck, before all this nonsense started coming up about CRT and other stuff, I actually said that I wish I could come back in a few centuries or something just to see how we change. It was going that with each generation, more and more ethnicities were coming together. We had white and black families for a few generations now. Asians were starting to come into the mix. Filipino, all different kinds of groups were coming together. That was awesome. And we were starting to become one group. The moment you start thinking, oh, you shouldn't have married them, you start sounding like a racist. Literally, in the deep south, you were told you cannot marry outside of your own race. Something y'all need to. The moment you start focusing on people's race, you are doomed to become a racist. because the moment you start focusing on race over the person's individuality and how they treat others, the very moment you start judging them solely based on that and nothing else. And that is just a matter of time as you start treating one group more than the other because of their race. And that is actual racism. Not that, oh, what power dynamics and patriarchy and other nonsense. If you treat others well, based on how you would want to be treated, you will never be racist because you treat everyone like family. That is what they should be. My personal viewpoint on how everyone should be treating each other is like this. Imagine two siblings on a giant exercise ball, their hands gripped together, working in tandem to roll towards what they hope to be a better day. The one on the right is leaning right, the one on the left is leaning left. If either of them fall out of balance, they will fall and get hurt. So they work together to maintain their balance and work towards a better day. Is it easy? No. But they know individually they will lose their balance and fall. What's going on right now in the greatest country ever? Hashtag bite me. Doesn't bite me if you think the US isn't great. Is this? You have a bunch of people who are so cheesed off that they can't see America for what it was meant to be. Read the founding documents. Read the founding fathers' notes. You'll be surprised at what they wanted for us. They dreamed of a day where people would no longer be keeping others as slaves. They wanted to do away with racism. They wanted to do away with sexism. They wanted to do away with all this mumbo-jumbo bullshit that's once again come up. As someone with autism, my views on things differ from other people. And I can understand and comprehend things that fly over other people's heads, just as y'all understand things that I will probably never fully grasp. One thing I figured out when I was young is this tragedy. Racism will likely always be around until something comes along that's bigger than ethnicity differences. Someone will always be judgmental of someone else because of their skin color. Won't always be white against black, but there will be someone out there that treats others poorly based on their skin color. And just because of their skin color. Thus, racism, if you fully understand what it actually means, it's likely to always exist. Short of E.T. coming in and giving us a proper bopping for being idiots, which they kind of need to do eventually. Do I like that? I am ashamed that so many has fallen for this same gaggle of tricks. Just look around you. What counties are having the most shootings right now? If I had my way, my ideal world, we would not need guns. Unfortunately, whether it be wildlife, each other, or environmental hazards, we will likely always need guns. And it's better to have a gun and not need it than to need one and not have it. And do you really think those guys up in Washington doesn't have some kind of defense for themselves? Spoiler warning, They're probably better protected than we ever will be. And yet, they still demand we get disarmed for their safety. Bit hypocritical of them, don't you think? Look, getting back on topic, sorry. Uh, One of the things I am sad about is what's going on with the transgender community. Y'all do not realize y'all are being used and bunch of a-holes. There are stories of people that thought they were trans, who transitioned and became scorned by every U.S. community. There are those who have seen people claiming to be trans, which, if you think about how they're behaving, is an obvious BS lie. Just be treated, well, I'm just trying to get my thoughts together here. I don't want to preach at y'all, but I think y'all need to hear this. There's many out there using the claim as, oh, I'm trans, so you can't discriminate against me. How dare you try to throw me out of this area? Ladies and gentlemen of the trans community, these people are using what you are as a scapegoat so they can do horrendous things to others. First, while you may hate Trump and Trump's behavior, his own actions alone pisses me off. The one of two ways to piss me off, well, the two ways to piss me off, be mean to women, and two, have a giant ego and look down at others. So I couldn't even listen to the Great Orange Cheese Puff speak a lot of the time, because it's always triggered my rage at him. Say what you will about him, he had many things to answer for, but the transgender bathroom ban was not done very well, but it needed to be done. Should have been done better. I say it wasn't done well because it punishes those who didn't. Okay, those who were in fact trans and weren't doing anything to anyone. They shouldn't have been treated like that. Unfortunately, something needed to be done because, let's see, the very first event I heard about after it got repealed by the sniffer in chief was a person walking around in a woman's side of a spa with not a stitch on them, hitting on the women in there. Full view of the little girls and boys in there. And he would not take no for an answer. And when those people came to the spa, people at the front, they said they couldn't do anything because dude was trans. How the heck do you think that makes y'all look? I'm going to say this as gently as I can for all of you. When they are done with your community, they will just abandon the damage they've done to you, let y'all sink like a boat with its engine exploded and broken in half, and ride off to the next community to do it again, doing whatever they want to get what they want. And that would mean raping others and harassing them in areas that should be safe for them. Do I think the transgender bathroom ban was a wise move? Let me point out some logic. Due to how my mind works, I can take a step back from the situation and do thought experiments. The very first thing that I did when I heard that story was, oh, if one certain person was in there, they would have stopped it. That one person is the very first transgender person I knew and has my total respect. She and I are not on good terms at the moment, and I highly doubt I'll ever be welcomed back into her group. But I know that Fiora the Tinkerer was at any of these incidents, they would not have happened. Let's use that very same spa event as an example, shall we? Which is actually literally what I did. And I came out with one of two events because I did not know how the people would react afterwards. So, well, how it went through my mind is when Fiora saw what was going on, she would be horrified at how this person was acting. She would argue with herself what to do for a few minutes and realize that she could only do one thing. And while apologizing to her wife, she would slowly but carefully loosen the top of her towel while making sure the lower section was kept in place. Then, in a very flirty sounding voice, walk up to the offender, sounding as flirty as possible and impressed with their half erect equipment. Making sure to act slyly and confidently. As soon as her hand was close enough, she would flex her fingers and sink her nails into the offending sausage. And then, in a very, well, I would use the term dead self's voice, meaning her voice before she transitioned. And yes, to me, Fiora the Tinkerer is a she. I might not agree with everything she stands for, but I've seen how she acts. I've seen how she behaves. I've seen how she's changed over time. And to me, while her body DNA might say male, her soul, who she truly is, says female. And I will respect her decision until she says treat her a different way. But yeah, once she has a offending sausage and basically says in her dead self's voice that the offender is gonna pay for what they did to her, and then quickly apologize for what the offender did to the people around them, she would take the dude by his equipment towards a handy capable stall, and whenever the offender was about to try and throw a punch, she would squeeze the offending sausage to make him stop. Because, yeah, that will hurt, trust me. Well, by the time she's there, she throws him in there, face first, so he might just hit his head against the wall and not be as aggressive. And then get in there right after him and close and lock the door. For a few minutes afterwards, she would kick his freaking ass. Even as undergoing HRT and all the stuff she's gone through to be a lady, she can easily beat the ever loving F out of anyone, especially if they can only achieve a partial erection in front of variously dressed ladies. Afterwards, she would unlock the door, come out, apologize to everyone there again, and go and change. At this time, this is where the two possible outcomes would come into effect, because I do not know how the bystanders would behave. Either A, they'd realize, oh, this is how a transgender person actually behaves like. They're not bad people. They protected us. Let's do what is right. And of course, by then, the spa people would have called the cops. When the cops get there, they tell the cops, oh, yeah, dude just tripped in the handicapable spa, or handicapable toilet. Nothing happened. Dude gets thrown in jail because, well, it's they all mentioned on what he was doing in indecent exposure and everything, and that would be that. And once the dude was led away, they would talk to Fiora and just learn what they can. Option 2 is they didn't really want to take a chance and just told the truth to the cops. At which point, all of Fiora's followers would pay to get her out and go from there. Fiora is my introduction to the entire transgender community. To me, Fiora is the benchmark. She is the first person that I met that was trans, and I'm honored to say that I got to meet her first. I do not want the trans community to be destroyed by a bunch of a-holes pretending to be what they are not, to be able to rape others that don't want it. More and more incidents are coming up where they are given, where these predators are given free reign to do whatever they want, whenever they want, without consequences. This will unfortunately backfire on the entire trans community unless something is done. I can only hope things are done. Remember, I am a libertarian. With liberty and justice for all is what we all make an oath to in the Pledge of Allegiance. The Constitution guarantees life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's their life. Their liberty should not be infringed, and as long as they're not harming others, and as long as they're not interfering with our own chance for happiness, why should we interfere with theirs? They deserve every last chance we should. My one plead to those who are listening: take a moment to look at this country. Who are the real villains at the moment? Was it someone with a really bad spray on tan that couldn't keep his mouth shut for a few minutes, who routinely gave loans to minority business owners trying to start out, and if they were able to make their payments, suddenly said, "Oh, you don't have to pay me, all's good"? Or was it the person who routinely has made everyone, well, I don't want to lead anyone on, um, which states would you rather live in? Someone with a, I'm sorry, just who do you think is doing a better job? The political left or the, not even the politicals, the politicians of the left or the politicians on the right? I do not care if they have a D, R, I, or even a freaking G next to their names. If they are doing a good job, I will cheer them on. If they screw up, I will condemn them for screwing up. And if they start shaking their finger at me, I will remember it and throw them out of office. They think they are in charge of this country. The founding documents says they are fucking wrong. You, me, and every other last citizen are in charge. They are the public servants. We hired them to run the company for us. They have done nothing but screw over so many people and get so many more killed because of their gross incompetence. Please think and pick wisely. We might not be able to survive another 2 years of what's going on now. This is Bronzell signing out.